called Hollywood.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Tom Cruise bike.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go. What's up, boys and girls? Martin here from the Dune Sea Outpost, and we are here with the CG-Rtist himself, Mr. Ron Kanyama. Kanyama, did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay, Ron Kanyama. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm just blown away by this whole weekend.
Yeah, it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Overwhelming would be the word.
So the idea here is to give viewers and members of the community a bit of insight into your prop making process.
Okay.
And your background, stuff like that. So
Sure.
I'm just going to make you a couple of questions. How long have you been making props?
Wow. Let's say 3 years. It started during the pandemic when I was working from home. No, but seriously, every day after work, all day on the weekends. So
Okay.
it kind of started then. You couldn't go anywhere, nothing
Right.
to do, so that's kind of what fueled it.
And what was your first project? Was it your home theater?
It actually was the theater, yeah. I had never made any props or anything prior to that. In fact, my whole premise for moving to the particular home that we chose is, you see, oh, this is the kitchen. It's got this many bedrooms. Out of my way. Where's the basement? I need to see what the basement looks like. And the way the basement was constructed was like an L shape. So you had most of the basement, then off to the side was a little bedroom. And I was like, yep, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. And the rest of the house is good too.
But out of that home theater, what did you first focus on the Star Wars, on the Death Star wall? Or
No, actually, it started off just as a normal home theater. You put your chairs there, you put a screen there, some speakers, and call it done. Maybe some movie posters like this and call it done.
Okay.
Then I made the mistake of going down the rabbit hole and looking online, and I saw, and I don't know the person's name at all, but I saw someone made a themed theater that looked like a bat cave.
Oh.
It had the stalagmites, stalactites, or whatever,
That's cool.
everywhere, and it was completely themed. It had a Batman outfit in glass. It was incredible, and I thought, if I could do that, but Star Wars. So then, of course, down the rabbit hole, you start looking, and other people have made Star Wars-esque caves, and I'm like, well, I got the space. The wife gave me permission to do whatever I wanted to do to this one room. I'm doing that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So you have focused on your home theater. So it's not like you have a favorite prop or something that you've made.
Right.
Or
Not
is
yet.
there?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
It's almost everything is my favorite. But if I had to pick something, I would say, of all things, the door. The moment I put the little sliding contraption on there and actually redid the door to use the CNC and put all the detail in there, that's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Okay. How do you approach your build process? Do you sketch out things first, or you dive right into the build?
Yeah, I have to sketch out my idea just to see if, could that work? Would that fit in the space allotted? And then
you
once
work
I
on
sketch
paper, or
yeah, it's all paper and pencil, napkin and pencil. And then when I feel like I've got an idea, then I'll draw different aspects of that idea. So, for example, I know I want a door. This is what the door looks like. Look at some reference. I have that door. Okay. Now, how will I hang it up? How will I, what do I have to do to get it inside the wall? And I'll draw little parts of contraptions and things and gears and things, and then start to look from there. So it's putting it down on paper first and then researching how am I going to do this.
Cool. Do you have a favorite tool?
Right now, because it changes every week, the bandsaw is my favorite tool at this point.
Okay. What's your favorite part of the building process? Is it the design? Is it the building? Is it the weathering?
It's when it's done. I'm like, whew, that idea actually worked.
All right.
No, it's usually right before the paint when the functionality, when I'm assured that this is going to work.
Right.
If it's supposed to open, it opens. If I'm putting a screen behind it, and the moment I turn the screen on, it just looks right.
Okay.
It's at that point, because paint, I think about that last. I know it's going to look fine and tie everything together. It's got to be functional though.
Do you have a favorite greebly?
No favorite greeblies.
Okay.
I mean, Smuggler's Room. Greeblies.
What's your professional background?
So, IT. I still work in IT, desktop support or sometimes executive desktop support, system engineer. I've had those roles. So that's what I currently do day to day.
How did you become a Star Wars fan?
Like most people, seeing A New Hope for the first time in the theater. Yeah, I'm that old. Yeah, at the age of 5, that's when I saw it. I don't know, in my tiny little brain, I decided I need to do something in life with that.
Okay.
That is awesome. I'm blown away. And it's funny because at that time, I decided I wanted to be a director, not really knowing what a director did. I want to do that. And then later I started to, now I want to get into graphics and then the love has always been there.
What's your favorite? The original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, or the sequel trilogy?
Original trilogy.
Of course.
And then throw a couple movies in there, Yeah, but yeah, the original trilogy still.
And what's your favorite movie?
It's like most people I've heard answer this. It's a toss-up between Empire Strikes Back and Rogue One. I like them equally. But if I had to truly pick a favorite, it'd be Empire Strikes Back, only because there was this element of unknown by the end of the movie.
Right.
So much was happening, so much was out of control. You're like, oh no, how is this gonna, how are they gonna resolve this? And you couldn't wait to see the next movie after Empire. Of course, after Rogue One, you know what happens.
Right. So, one of the questions was, what's your favorite Star Wars property outside from the films?
Sure.
Outside from the trilogies.
So I answered that already.
I would assume it would be Rogue One.
Yeah,
of course.
Yep.
To know how much of a diehard fan you are, have you watched all the Star Wars animated series from the original Clone Wars on Cartoon Network to Resistance on Disney XD?
Being a animator, I know the answer should be yes, but no. I honestly, here goes my fan base. What little fan base I had, I could not stand the 2D cartoon Star Wars. I did not like the style.
Yeah.
I come from, at least when I think cartoons or animated series, I should say, I come from watching stuff like Akira, a lot of Japanese animation where the style was, just incredible without computers, And then to see this kind of loose artwork, I felt like it didn't live up to what Star Wars to me meant, and I just avoided it.
Right.
And with that, I started to avoid the animated series, the computer animated series, and just started to watch Clone Wars. I was like, oh, this is actually all right. And then, Rebels, and the rest is history. Okay. But as far as the 2D, I still haven't. I've seen clips enough to know I don't like that.
Did you watch the Star Wars Holiday Special?
It's funny. I must have had my head in the closet or something, or underground. I didn't know it was happening when it was happening, because I was surely young enough to know.
Right.
And there wasn't as much Star Wars in your face like there is today. So anything Star Wars, I would have been like, oh, I want to watch this. I didn't even know it was happening, and then I learned about it afterwards. Then I started to watch it and watch the beginning. It was like, oh no, oh no, I'm not watching. So I've never watched it from beginning to end.
Oh really?
I can't do it. I start and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it this time. I can't do it.
Interesting.
Can't do it.
Did you watch Solo?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only movie that I did not see in the theater. I've seen all Star Wars except that one. And then I watched it at home and wished I'd seen it in the theater. I don't know, it just didn't seem like it was going to be a good movie, and some people will argue it wasn't, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Did you watch The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
All 3 seasons?
Yep, all 3 seasons.
Did you watch Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I did.
Did you watch Andor?
Yep.
Did you hate the Book of Boba Fett?
I didn't hate it, but I remember saying to a couple buddies of mine, for those who got tattoos of Boba Fett on their arm,
right,
they're probably going to change that over to Mando, because this is not the Boba Fett that I grew up with. There was this mystery. You didn't really know, but you knew he was can I say badass?
Yeah, sure, of course.
You knew he was a badass, but you didn't really know why. And you felt there was an injustice when he, died the way he did, so we thought he died.
Right.
And now to see what's become... And then there was the teaser in Mandalorian where he was beating up everyone. It was working. I thought that's what we were going to get.
Exactly. That episode.
Yeah.
That that episode was amazing.
It was. He showed
way
off
he shows
everything.
up,
Yeah.
and he beats everybody without the armor.
Yeah.
And then he comes up with the armor.
And then it was pure
It was-
pandemonium. They had nothing for him. And when
that's what I was expecting out of the
Yeah.
series, not Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
yeah, it was disappointing, and there were some design choices, Vespas. That I mean, you could have designed any speeder.
Exactly.
It just boggles my mind. There's some.
Yes, it had kind of a Power Rangers flavor.
It did, and I don't understand why they went that way. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm hoping, based on all of the feedback, season 2, which I think will happen, they'll correct those things. He'll go back to being grizzled and angry and just badass. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Isn't it too late for that?
It could be redeemed.
Okay.
It could be redeemed.
I hope so.
Yep.
I hope so.
Yep.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to get into prop making or room building?
Start off small. Do as I do and watch plenty of YouTube videos, because everyone has done. I mean, don't think you're on an island and I don't know how to do this. Everything you can think about making, someone has done it before you, and is willing to teach you. Get in the room builders group, ask your questions. Like everyone said before, it's a non-toxic environment. Doesn't matter what you make as long as you've made something. Start off small, making something, and then when you discover that you like that, move on to bigger and bigger, and it just happens.
Yeah, that's
It just
true.
happens. If you're thinking about doing a room build, again, start off small with some panels. Before you know it, you've got 5 panels in a row. Now you just start to see your dream come true right there, and then start to get into other things. Take inspiration from everybody around you. It's not stealing. It's just, I like that idea. I'm going to do that. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's do something. I want you to say the first thought or image that comes to mind when I say Star Wars.
Sci-fi. Lots of cool graphics and animation.
A New Hope.
The beginning of it all. Childhood.
Empire Strikes Back.
Just awesome.
Return of the Jedi.
It's funny. Okay, I'm sorry, going on a little rant.
No,
but
no.
when I first saw the previews, the trailer for Return of the Jedi, after seeing Empire, I'd already determined I didn't like it. I wasn't going to like this. I don't know what it was. It didn't pull me in. And then of course,
tipped you off?
I don't know. I just was like, ugh. There's forest and there's not enough space. They're in the forest But then I went and saw it and was like, oh, this is incredible. I didn't see any of the space scenes because they didn't show that in the preview I was watching.
Okay.
And then was blown away. So, yeah, just epic.
Jar Jar Binks.
Ugh,
George Lucas.
awesome. To a point.
Okay.
Don't get in your own way.
Rogue One.
Awesome.
The Mandalorian.
Awesome, except season 3.
Andor.
Awesome. One more.
Book of Boba Fett.
It was okay.
And one last. Brian Thompson.
Awesome. Inspirational would be
Yes.
the word.
Yes.
Inspirational.
Ron, thank you for much. Thank you so much for agreeing to this.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure being with you, man.
Sure, man. Sure. Pleasure. Thank you.
Stay tuned because there are more interviews coming up. Awesome.
Sorry, I get long-winded.
No, that's perfect.
Should see me in interviews. That's exactly what happens. I'm sure they're like,
No, that's exactly what I want to capture. You know, that's perfect.
cool. All right.
Cool.